went shopping to buy some new shoes. Figured might as well because these are getting a little on the smaller side. So went to the store, couldn't decide if I wanted to get blue shoes like the one I'm wearing right now or if I wanted to get red and white shoes like these. And that got me thinking because earlier that day I had seen an article on the BBC website about designer babies. Now designer babies is this new project these scientists in Britain have been working on. And what they've been doing is they have been working with the zygotes of baby rats, or rats I mean, and they've been tampering with the DNA code on them so that they can get outcomes of what they want. So for instance, let's say they want a rat with a 3-inch tail, blue eyes, and white fur. They can literally tap into the DNA code of that zygote, change it so that when the zygote becomes a fully born baby rat, it will be 3-inch tail, white fur, and blue eyes. So, what this is called originally is in vitro fertilization. And what that refers to is that it's out of the womb when it starts, and it's usually done on a petri dish. You will grab a sperm from the father and an egg from the mother, and you will combine them on a petri dish, and then you made a baby, essentially. So, the first thing that they've been the first goal that they've had for this is they want to remove disease from the world, which seems like a pretty good front, right? Well, when they're doing this, that also opens, when they're opening this door, they're opening a bunch of windows in the back as well. Because even though you can change the genome, or not the genome, genes of the cell, you can also still change genes for other things. Because there's about 22 genes, I think they said, in the DNA code that handles about everything about our physical appearance and attributes. Anything from physical talents, appearance, intelligence, all of that can be changed by just these 22 genes in your DNA code. And that's kind of scary. So let's talk about some ethics. Is embryonic mutation ethical? Well, we have to kind of put it in the lines of as well as something like, I don't know, abortion. Because basically what you are doing is you're changing a pre-existing life. You are taking this sperm and this egg, which was supposed to make baby A, and you are changing it so that it's going to make baby B, C, D, or whatever you want. So is that ethical in our eyes? Well, according to the Bible, which is the belief I believe in at least, we are not supposed to tamper with life because that is God's creation. So I believe at least that it is not ethical at least. Now, what else will this lead to? I believe that with embryonic mutation, with embryonic mutation, this could lead to horrible things like, one of the first things I thought of was history and World War II and Hitler with his Aryan society. He wanted to make this perfect group of people, the society of people, blonde hair, blue eyes, no blemishes, nothing wrong with them, no mentally challenged people, no gypsies, none of that. So, this could lead a lot to something that happened back then. This would make it far easier even. You could literally just change the genetic code of your future generation so that they could be exactly how you want. You can even change the pigment of the skin of the child. If you have two black parents, you can have them make a white child. Like, that is a possibility. All it takes is a little tampering of the genetic code. Now, what are the pros to something like this? Well, the pros mainly would be that you could get rid of disease. It is all possible. The cons, though, is all that it could come up from it. Something like the cultural stigmas that could come from this horrible experiment. You could get this higher class group of people who think that they're so much better because they were genetically changed from an embryo. And then everyone below that who couldn't afford it because this can be 10,000 to 100,000 depending on where you would want to get it done. Next would be, what can we learn from history? I already kind of touched base on World War II and Hitler and all that fun stuff. So let's move back to about 1900s time in the US. One of the other things I thought of was racism. Racism was so prominent in our history, and it's a touchy topic, I know, but it's a very important topic as well. Racism would still play a huge part. What? racism would still play a huge part in this. Because if you can change the race of a baby, what would happen between biracial couples? There could be racial things that could come in there as well. And then what can we learn from our culture today? Well, as we know, a lot of parents have competitive attitudes. And since parents have these competitive attitudes, it usually can be shown through their children. And so with this, we can see it even in sports, children's sports. You'll no longer go to a child's sports child sports game, and you'll see parents who are very active in this game. They are coaching almost from the sidelines. And can you imagine if these very demanding parents were able to create their own child, like how they want it? Every parent that, if they had a few bucks to spare, would be buying a baby practically. And that's actually a market in places like India. You can literally go to a country like India and purchase a baby. There are baby factories, is what they're literally called. They're hospitals where they impregnate many women so that they can have your baby, and then the babies are C-sectioned out. So, our future is looking a little bit scary, I'd say, but if we do things right, it could end up very well. With this new technology, we'll either have a dystopian society where there are people who believe they're worth so much more because they have special genetic code, or we might end up in a society